This is the Carson, the Carson Mansion. It's in Eureka, California, built by a turn of the century industrialist guy that was in a lot of wood that they have in that area. Built this home out of wood, overlooking the ocean, and his family lived there for a long time. Very fancy place. Now it's been taken over by a consortium that maintain it. They use it as a place where you can hold wedding receptions or business meetings or other social, political functions. And it's well maintained, well painted. The roof is kept up nice. Pretty interesting place to even just go look at if you're in that in the Eureka area of California. Now, lettering to this, if we were going to make something that was a brochure or something about this building or Eureka, California, we'd start with a good photograph taken on a day when the sky is not bad and the sunlight is good on the green paint of the mansion. I want to bring over something that is decorative. Now, I've made in Illustrator this Carson Mansion graphic and brought it over to Photoshop. In Illustrator, here it is, Carson Mansion, with these little tick marks around the outside. Now, let's review circular lettering. You remember I make a circle out of no stroke and no fill. So it's an invisible circle. And I'm using a center point of reference in these guidelines. I make sure that my paragraph is centered, and the character I've selected is this Mater Corpus. You may or may not have it on your font, but I'm going to use it. And you have to go to the type tool and get the type that's on a path. Then you click, depends on where you start. I like to click on the bottom. Remember, I've got this thing set at 60 points, and it's centered. Everything else is normal. I click on the bottom where the little wiggly crosshair goes past the I-beam, and click there, and for some reason then it works on top. And then I just type out in all caps, Carson Mansion. Oops, you know what? I got to give it a font color. I clicked on it. See, it's nothing there. I got to make it black. There. Now it's black. What I did is I clicked on the invisible. It's there. I knew it was there, but click, click, click. With the type tool, will capture or backlight, and then there it is. Now, it sits there, and it might be a little close in some places, so I'm going to click it again. Click, 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 and hold down the Option key and the right arrow and push it a little further apart so there's a little more space between letters. And some of them are just naturally difficult, the RS combination. So just click between, with the cursor between those two, and hold down the Option key and the right arrow to push them a little further away. And here another AM combination, the NIS. You can do it all together, but there's the A especially is a problem because it slants outwardly more than the other letters. So I'm going to kern the whole thing a little wider, and then when I do that, all of the kerning expands. But when I put in between, just click between two characters, and the Option key and the right arrow pushes them apart. Now that business about the tick marks. Now you see I can read this from left to right without having something on the bottom down in here. I'm just going to let it go as Carson Mansion. One line right reading. I'm going to take this little tick mark I put there and set right up top here at the 12 o'clock position. And then I'm going to take my rotate tool. Now remember that's selected there, but you bring your tool down here to the crosshairs where they meet in the center point of reference, and hold down the Option key and click once. Now you have to come up with an angle that you're happy with that divides into 360. I'm going to use 10. That's not a very wide thing, so I'm going to say 10 and hit copy, and it puts you know, it's a little gap there. That's okay. Now 10 does go into 360, and I could get closer together. I'm going to go with that. Now once I had the second one copied, now it's just duplicating it. Command D, and then Command D. Now I'm going to go all the way around until I come back to the start. Then I'm going to select the guys I don't want, that one, I'm going to stop where the letters start and stop. And so I'll just come by here and select groups of them and delete them. And then I have my Carson Mansion. I already got it there, but I want to show you how I made it. And then I select all of this, and Command C, I copy it. Then I go to the Photoshop and make a layer for it, like here, this logo layer black. And I make a layer and I Command V and I paste it in. Let's just put another layer there, and it'll be layer 2 for now. Command V, and oops, I gotta do something else here. Let's go back to that. Make sure I got that. Okay, there's all that. And you know, while I'm at it, before I go, I'm going to take the lettering and say type, create outlines, and then it's no question of what's going across over there. Okay, so I select all that and I say Command C, I copy it, and I go to the Photoshop to that layer 2, and I Command V, and I want pixels, not smart object, but pixels. Select that one and hit OK. And it comes in kind of large, and so I'm going to get a hold of the corner here and the shift key down, and I'm going to reduce it down in size until I work it to be something what I want it to be and how I'm going to make that work. So, and then I say OK, and I place it. There it is. And it clears itself up. It's a little scraggly. Now I can still move this around, and I can even rotate it if I want to. I turn on my Show Transfer Conforms, and I'll rotate it. See, there's the crooked arrow, or bent arrow, and I'll rotate it until Mansion and Carson do something like that. I can still read it, and then I can apply it or set it over here someplace. But be that as it may, I'm going to take those out. Let's see, I get all my layers here. Okay, there's the 2 blacks I don't need. I've worked this picture. For example, here I put a sun in. It's a yellow sun, and it's about 63% opacity, and it's a light yellow to dark yellow gradient. I've also, when the sun isn't there, I've taken my polygonal lasso tool, and I have come through here and I've trimmed off very carefully around these, I'm not doing it now, but around the roof and all this stuff on the top of the roof. And I came back here and closed on itself. Now, those marching ants are there. I had the sun, and the sun was originally a round circle. That's hard to see now, but there's the round circle of the sun. And see, this is the outline of the building. I just hit delete, and it took a big bite out of the sun. And when I put the building back, it had bitten out, where that wasn't there. So the sun isn't behind it. It's just cut away from it. Now, I also put in the word Carson Mansion, and I've turned Carson a little bit, and I've also added a outer glow and a bevel and emboss. So the letterings are embossed, and and there's a glow on it, and then of course that outer glow is open up here, outer glow. Well, you can see it's there. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's not turning on and off. Oh, I know. I've got to say something about that. Well, at any rate, I put the letters in, and then I separated the letters from the tick marks and put them on 2 different layers. And then here's the tick mark layers. Every other tick mark is dark green and light green with the bevel, with the outer glow on it. So when I get all through with that and look at it, now I've got the logo of Carson Mansion sitting in a little kitty corner, but you can still read it, behind the roof with the sun shining. There's one other thing I did is this trees and stuff here are really nice. There's a building right here that isn't all that pretty. That's where they set up for catering, and it's was added on. It's painted the same color and trim, but it just isn't the real deal. So I took a little bit of these trees over here and copied them and reversed them and put them over here. I didn't take the building out, but I just covered it up with another tree to hide it a little bit. There's another Carson Mansion here that where the Carson Mansion is really big and strong, and I'm not sure that that's my favorite size. there's the lettering, and there's the stripes. It takes up too much of the building. Now I can get a hold of the Carson Mansion and hold the Option key down and get the stripes, and they become one unit for a moment, and I can come up here and I can reduce them down in size and maybe move them over here. Now don't have the sun in this one per se, but I could move them here and let's say, well, that's all right. Let's take this rotate tool or mark and put it right here in the corner where that C is, and come over here and get a rounded arrow and just rotate that. Now it'll rotate where that C is and rotate it around a little bit. And I'm sort of getting the same function as I had before. The Carson Mansion tipped a little bit. It's got to think about itself, and then I can realign it and set it in there. That's not so bad. But that's resembling what I did with the sun. Now, you could have it without the sun. That would work just as well. But this is an effect taking lettering, in this case circular lettering, and adding these little tick marks to it, and getting to a point where you lay it into a photograph and just see what layout you can come up with that works the best. Here's another example of lettering that is fun in Photoshop. If I turn all these letters off, you get a background of just sort of a orangey peach color. And I actually put an effect on this. You can see the bevel here. Now there's a rock that is a carving that was at the Getty Museum. I took a picture of that as it hung on the wall. And the wall it hung on was pretty much this color. It was broken here, and there's been a big chip taken out of it, and the shadows were caused by the actual lights on the wall from the ceiling. So this is a piece of antiquity that they've had. It's been, you know, broken over the years, but it's from Greece, and it's well carved, and it's hanging on the wall. And so I added it to the book cover, and here's the word "the" small. It does have bevels, and it has a let's see what it has. It has an outer glow and drop shadow and bevel and emboss, and so do all they. Now here's a bigger word, "the," and "ides" is bigger because it's more important. Then the small word "of," and then the bigger word "March," and then the author's name, Erwin Chemerinsky, is at the bottom. So add all this together, and you come up with a fairly good design for the front cover of a hard bound book dust jacket or soft cover book print on the front of the cover. But you are taking the lettering and you are adding bevels and different effects to it. Not exactly bending it here, but it comes together with the color and the shape and the shadows and the effects. That makes for good use of decorative type coming through your Photoshop techniques.